Round two. Welcome back to BitLab Academy. I had to restart my computer, but I think we're all good. Throw a 1 in chat if everything's looking good, sounding good. Let me make sure, just want to make sure that we can keep this going. I'm sorry about that. Had some issues with the tech setup, but hey, we got the charts here. We're going to be breaking it down, and I think it should all be good to go. So everybody, thank you for waiting around. I could see all the homies here waiting while we had those issues. I don't know why I had to restart the computer, but that's what we had to do, and here we are. So everybody, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding the bell. Sorry about that issue. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. Yes, it is working. Awesome. So what are we doing here? Make sure if you're watching anywhere else, you head to BitLab Academy, which is youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. And we're going to dive right into what we want to talk about today. And that's just the charts. We want to look at what's going on in the charts. We want to say what's happening here. So shout out to every single one of you that's here, especially if you waited through that little issue that we just had. Again, I apologize for that, but I see that you're here for the crypto. You're here for the community, and we are here together. So let's talk about what's going on here. Before we dive into this, I just wanted to make sure the charts were working. Let me know, everybody that's here right now, you let me know, what charts do you want to look at? Let me know what charts you want to see, so we can break down the signals, the analysis, and what's going on with everything going on here. So we love our, well, shout out to you, Sawtooth Hiker, and Alexander G, and Ryan O'Ligny, and Granny's Garden, and Black Ice, and Xandro Gaming. Who else we got in here? Crimson Caravan. We got the whole crew in here. Tig Old Biddies, Green Day Prophets, Crimson Caravan. I already said you, but I'll say it again because you deserve it. Jeanette, what's up? How you doing? Mark Whittick, what's up? Yeah, we're back, and we are back in charts. Let's go ahead and break down what's going on here on the charts, and I'll just start going as I see Crypto Chronic says, aloha, Kelly. Mahalo. I should say that. Okay, we see Mana, ETH, VET, IMX, XRP, DOT. Let me go and see if I can save this just like that. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. And we're going to make sure, because you guys were the first ones to say some coins, and I'm going to make sure I hit yours. God dang it. Stop moving. Okay, let's do it. Now, I'm just pulling up a screenshot of that. So I have a list of it. I have a list right next to what I want to do here, so I make sure I can hit those coins. Okay. You can see those right there now. Boom. Now, let's go ahead and talk about it. We'll do Bitcoin at the very end. So many things happening with the computers today. God damn it. Okay. Goosefraba. All right, now we're just going to do a little happy fib here. All right, what are we doing first? VET, Ethereum, Mana, IMX, XRP, DOT. We'll go in that order, and then we'll continue on from there. Shout out to everybody that is here. Shout out to the whole community. Sorry again for that issue that we had. But let's go ahead and look at what we want to look at. Okay, first things first. There we go. Let's do VET. We talked about this a little bit. Didn't really go into detail, but we talked about it a little bit on Discover Crypto. Let's go ahead and let's see what this looks like on the weekly. I just want to look at if I have any TA on here already. All right, so we have this channel. I'm looking here on the weekly. This channel that it was kind of falling in, fell out of this channel using the same level as resistance here. You see this? So this confirmed, even though this fell out, this confirmed this level was a level that we should be watching. And then at this point, we have broken back out to the upside. And look at this. Not only did we break out to the upside, we took out all of these highs right in this region right here. Took out all these highs. So this is looking very promising because we took out the highs of the range that we were just trading in. So we're sitting right here now in this order block zone, which is essentially right here where everybody was dumping. So there's a lot of orders that piled into the books to get out of the market right here, which was also evident in the drop in price that we could see that happened very quickly on this week. Now, what we're going to want to watch for, where do we find our next level as necessary resistance? So when I put my mouse over this and I have crosshairs that come all the way across the chart, as I move up, I can see I have a wick right here, which is not that much above us. And I can look all the way on the right side of this chart. And it'll tell me what price level that is. I can also look right here on the OHLC, open, high, low, close, the open of the candle, the close of the candle, which is the candle body, and then the high and the low, which is the wicks, right? So the low right here, I can put my mouse right where I want it, and that's 3.859 cents, or I can put my mouse over this candle and look right here on the low, and that says, so 3.9 cents. Where we're at right now, we're at 3.5 cents. And we can also see it's evident that the price action is not only pushing up into this, but we are seeing a little bit of potential weakness come in on this weekly candle. There's 3 days left, and we're getting a little bit of one of those candles that suggests, like we see right here, you see this, suggests something may be coming, but this is not conclusive yet, just because we may get a shooting star candle or something up here that shows that the narrative is broken. Sometimes things pause on the way up. Very similar to as we see right here. Things paused a little bit, reloaded, and then moved up. So we're going to need more clarity. So what we're going to do is we're going to get down to the daily candle. Daily candle. So look at this. Finding support here on the 20 moving average, 20 moving average, 20 moving average with the wick all the way down past the trend signal line. Back up, 20 moving average, 20 moving average. And look at this. Now it's chopping a little bit. And I want you to notice something here. We've got a fairly large move here. Okay. Now, is the next move larger or smaller? Quite a bit smaller. In fact, this is really the move right here. And then we have an even smaller move right here, AKA the bullish narrative is starting to diminish. And if the bullish narrative is starting to diminish, it could be one of two things. It could be there's a reversal in store and this is going to be coming lower, or this is loading up and there's going to be a little bit of accumulation in the zone before the next move to the upside. We want to determine whether or not it's distribution or accumulation. Okay. Accumulation would be evident of a move, indicative of a move, pushing out of this. Distribution means people are, taking advantage of the chop to get out on all the up movements and then move the price back lower. So this is looking at the daily, and on the daily, look at the trend signal, the dashboard here on the BitLab Trend Fuel, almost all red, okay? And we also have bearish divergence right here on the stochastics. What does this mean? High on the stochastics, this orange line, and then a lower high, okay? We also see the same thing playing out, we also see the same thing playing out with these tops on the purple line, which is RSI. Lower highs coming in the same period of time from here over. And I'm looking at where the crosshairs are on the data points below. From here over, we see highs basically hitting new highs on the way up, while the underlying data, the underlying strength is showing weakness coming up into this level. Now, this does not mean it has to reverse. It does indicate that there's likely a period of time for a little bit of a cool off or a strong sell-off that gets bought up really quick that pushes it back up. So we're going to want to watch what happens here with VET. And these strategies work on all different assets. This is the type of things we want to look for. On this breakout, look at this, a little bit of a pause here. We had two little bearish signals as we came into this. And what was this? This was just indicative at this point of a little bit of accumulation. This is what we're looking for. Is this a similar thing that's happening up here? But what happened is we ultimately broke out of this, had a little retest, really broke out, and then came back and really more strongly retested these previous highs to give that move to the upside. So we're looking at the daily. Let's get down to the 2 hour, get a little bit more information here. So this is looking a little ugly right here. This is telling me the candle structure, not even looking at the data down here, just looking at the candle structure. We had a little bit of accumulation here, a little bit of consolidation, I should say, not accumulation, a little bit of consolidation. Price is consolidating at this level. And then we have the move to the upside, fails. Much bigger move to the upside that forms an M pattern. See this? M pattern. Not only did it form an M pattern, we had a high volume and then a stopping volume and a bearish signal all right here, indicating some weakness coming in at this level. We had another attempt higher that could not really quite follow through. And then what do we get? We get a lower low from this range. Now we have a lower high at this range, ultimately, that is now rolling over. That is my favorite signal calling for moves to the downside. When you have a price moving up, when all of a sudden you have a lower low right here from this previous range, and then a lower high, that's indicating the bullish narrative is exhausted and there's going to be an attempt to the downside. And this is what we're seeing currently right here in this candle structure. And in addition to that, I won't call it a head and shoulders because we do have a bit of a shoulder here. We do have a bit of a head here. We do have a bit of a shoulder here, although it's quite wonky. Structurally, it's indicating the same thing, that bullish attempt, larger bullish attempt, weaker bullish attempt. So the move is going weak, strong, back to weak. If you're not following through in this, this is indicating we might get a little bit of a bounce here and a bit of a move to the downside. In addition to all this, look at this. We have two bullish divergences right here on the chart. Stochastic bearish momentum and momentum bearish divergences. And then also RSI demand index and on balance volume. What does this mean? Who cares about this? Divergences this, blah, blah, blah. What it's saying is that there's attempts to be made where the underlying strength is not agreeing with that move to the upside. So the fact that we have a lower low right here from this move, followed by a lower high, is suggesting now with the bearish divergences that this is coming in with some bearish pressure. So on any move up here, I'll be watching for a likely test here, depending on where this line comes down to. You know, when the price moves up, testing somewhere in this region in the 3.5, 3.6, which is very close. It's not too far of a move. Watching for something similar like this. You see how this tested this area and then moved down? Similarly, I'm looking right here. If this pushes up into the zone, likely further move to the downside. It's feeling a little bit, feeling like it wants to make that test to the downside. Stochastics are getting quite low here. So that's one benefit to the bulls, because maybe this is coming down to fake people out and move up. But all the other signals are indicating that this is likely moving to the downside. Come on. There we go. All right. So ETH. If this does move up, again, watch this entire dynamic resistance range that's forming right above us. That's why I love the BitLab trading stack. It paints this out perfectly. You can look at this dynamic resistance range comes into front running the order block range that's directly above this, more resistance. So I'm watching this for a more likely move down than up at the time being. If this does moves up, then I'm watching in that level. Now let's look at ETH. I'm going down that list of what people asked for. ILV and Crypto Crank, what's up? I saw you were doing all kind of comments in the last show, so shout out to you, my friend. ILV and UNI that haven't pumped hard. Well, let me take a little screenshot of that. I'll make sure to look at those too. Let me pull those up. This stream's for you guys today, man. I was going to prepare this stuff. I was like, you know what? I haven't really checked in with chat and asked them what they want to see lately. So I'm doing y'all's charts today, man. And I do this for the members. I want to do it just for everybody on the channel here sometimes too. So Brendan Buttrey, I agree. He said, I think people are wanting a test to move to the downside. Yeah, so I'm waiting for that as well. It doesn't mean it has to happen, but I do feel like the market is kind of feeling that right now. Ethereum. Okay, we all know the macro on this. I'm just going to stick with the smaller time frame so we can go through a lot of these. Ethereum came up right into this level. Right into this level and rejected. Delete that. Let's turn off all the stuff. Look at this. Came right into this level. Right above our head. Rejected down. It looks like we're trying to test these sort of, see these range highs? This is, I'm looking for a little bit further downside. Maybe a little bit of a relief like we're getting right now. Small relief that then rolls over and comes further down. Likely even testing down here in the upper 2200s. So 2290, 2295 sort of region. And if we lose this level, then potentially, I don't think this is really going to fully roll over. But this is looking, if we do come down and test this, then we may be coming down a little bit further to the low 2100 regions in these two order blocks that are right in this region. If we're able to hold this and form a bull flag, then potentially we could test back up into the 2430s and then beyond, making moves higher. But this is feeling, what does it look like on the 12-hour? Yeah, you see right here, see how high this is and see how low this momentum wave is over here? And look at this, we have a higher high while the momentum is not agreeing with that. Similarly with the the RSI. We have a very slight bearish divergence on the RSI. I can tell because I'm putting my mouse right over this. I see the crosshairs come across and the RSI is lower, whereas in the same period, look here, and the price is higher. So this is showing some weakness has come into this zone. So I think I'm not necessarily bearish on Ethereum because this is quite a great move. Let's go ahead and move this down in this region. But I do think that there's a possibility that we do have some chop in this region. We can also see it evident on the stochastic starting to roll over here. See this? Starting to roll over. And huge volume spike with much smaller volume spike. Now we still have 6 hours left in the daily candle. But this, if this closes anything like this, this is suggesting weakness has come in to this narrative because of this candle. This candle right here, this is a bullish candle. You see this? This is a bearish candle. When you have these very thin candles following a big bullish candle, it signals that the narrative is likely shifting. And then what happens? Boom, narrative comes down. And then what? Smaller candle, narrative goes up. So this isn't going to be the only thing you look for, but it's one of the first things I see when I'm looking at a chart. I see the pattern of the chart because that's the most visually striking thing that you see when you pull up a chart. But then right after you pull up a chart, you see a candle structure, and then you see where the current move is and what is the current candle structure you're looking at, rather than just patterns, the individual candles. What are the last 3 or 4 candles showing you, and what's the most current candle showing you? So I do feel like there's going to be a little bit of chop in this region. It did look like we had an inverted head and shoulders here that did not quite follow through. So this is a bullish sort of plug here for Ethereum, because if this sort of happened, the target is up here at 25.22. Now, maybe we get in this move where we're at right now, maybe what we're about to see, let's get down to like the 6 hour. Maybe what we're about to see is this rolling over and testing this level like I just called out because of, and I wasn't even looking at the inverted head and shoulders. I was looking at this breakout weakness. Maybe this is a retest of this move before a launch liftoff, but we got to let it play out. But looking at charts before the pattern is fully set allows you to get this front running, this forewarning about what may be coming. Now, let's go ahead and look at Mana. We haven't looked at Mana in a while. How many of you out there hold Mana? I'm curious how many of you guys are Mana holders. 94 people watching. Sorry about that issue at the beginning with the tech. I had to restart the computer. But hey, we're here. We are here as a family. We are breaking this down together. So let's get it. Ego waffles. All right. So Mana, we're looking at the 6 hour here. This is, strong move, a little bit of chop. And my concern with this, my initial impression is this is looking like it's getting weak. Why? We have a pretty big move. We have a smaller move, and we have a smaller move. You see that? Does that stick out to your eye? When you guys look at the chart, do you have chart vision yet? Do you notice these things? So this does not mean it has to come straight down. What this means is that the bullish narrative is starting to get a little exhausted, and it may need something. It may be a news story. It may be a fundamental shift. It may be some huge whale buy, something that changes the narrative of what's happening. Because as it stands right now, the narrative on Mana right now is suggesting that there's some weakness coming in for the bulls. So if that's the case, what do we do about it? Well, let's zoom left. Let's see if there's a reason this is pushing up, and is there any chop that we're looking into? Yeah. So we have, look at this. These come on. These regions right in this zone. So look at this. We came up, found resistance right where all this chop was. Look at this. Also right where this bottom was. And then as we're pushing into this, there was a lot of chop in this zone with these lows, with these highs. And so it's giving us a lot of price memory in the chart where people can take exits on some of the profits that they made from this W double bottom formation right here. It's really a triple bottom, but just on this smaller time frame right here, we can see that is a W formation. And then on the breakout of this was the entry for this to take this higher. Okay. One of these days, I'm not going to be sick. I promise you. Like I've been sick for like 2 months, and I don't get sick. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Guess it's just stress in life. HNT. We can look at HNT a little bit. I don't know how I feel about H&T, but tradable asset for sure. I'm a little skeptical on broad adoption of Helium network because of Starlink, and there's so many other different things out there that are providing internet service. But then there's also places globally that could use something like that, but then it also needs to be in an urban area for those things to truly work. So I'm a little hit or miss on H&T. E-Gold, Rob Ellis said E-Gold. Yeah, we could definitely look at E-Gold in a little bit. Metaverse X or Multiverse X. I used to hold a lot of E-Gold. Sold it after the top dropped on that first retest down, you know, and then you have the first lower low, followed by the lower high. That was my exit. So what was the other one? Granny's Garden, IMX. So on this, I should say on Mana, if this does continue to the downside, which I think is likely, I'm watching for first a test, which already has tested these previous highs. I'm looking at this coming down and testing somewhere about where this point of control is, where this high and this lows are, coming down and testing down here in the 4.46 cents level, which is also right about just above these order blocks. If we test into this and lose this, I think there could be a bigger move to the downside. But I think a lot of things are just testing the waters. You know, there's people taking some profits. This was some big gains. You know what I mean? It's 126, 127%, 125% gains here. So of course, some people are taking some profits, and there's a little bit of pause right now because the market's been a little exuberant. So it's okay to watch this and see where the bulls start to come in when it gets down into these levels. This would be a buy area for me. And then if it's dropped below this, I wouldn't necessarily sell. I would, because I'm more interested in buying positions for the huge run right now. So that's what I'm seeing on Mana. IMX, somebody said IMX. How many of you out there hold IMX? Let me know if you're an IMX holder. This one has been popping on my radar a lot recently, just from a lot of chatter about it and whatnot. So 3 days, look at that. Look at this W formation. This is crazy. Look at this. Do you guys see this? W formation with W formations within it. Come down, W formation, up, W formation, up. Move this out of the way. You can see what I'm talking about. So we have this larger W, and then we have W's at each bottom. The bulls are really defending that. It's saying we're going up. So we took out this level. Took out this level, which is this lows, highs. We broke through this here, but highs. Look at this, pushed out, found support. So where we're testing right now is right in this similar region of the next range high, which is right there. So is there another, let me see if there's another older chart. IMAX. Yeah, same. Okay, so this move was not a bad move, if I do say so myself. That's 375%. We've come up quite, aggressively as it can be. And look at this, money flow has been negative almost this entire chart. See this? We finally got just a touch up here, positive money flow. This is where this purple flips back up in here into the blue and gray. And then it comes back negative through all this. And now we're just now flipping back positive, bullish in terms of the money flow into the space. But we have to be careful here because this is a 300, almost a 400% move. So what do we do with that? How do we position if there's a potential buy opportunity on a dip? So we're going to draw a Fibonacci from this low to the high. And in order to do that, I pressed Option F. If you're on Mac, if you're on PC, it's Alt F. You can also come over here to the left toolbar, go to the crosshairs, the second one, and then the third one down. Come here, click Fib Retracement. And what you want to do is you click, when you select this, you select at the bottom of a move, measure it towards the top. And what that does is it allows you to project with the laws of nature where there's key levels, key Fibonacci levels for price action to potentially come down to and test this region. So what we want to watch for, look at this. This already, I can't say it came down to the 382 because the high is here. We want to watch if this does pull back. The ultra bullish pullback would be for the price action to come down and test this. And I want you to notice this 382 and the 0.5, this perfectly outlines exactly where this order block is as well on the BitLab volume. I don't know why it doesn't have a point of control on there, but my computer's been acting funny. But I'm watching for a test into this zone here, which is $1.66. $1.78 down to $1.60 sort of region. If we lose this, I think we're coming down here to test all these previous highs, which is perfectly in line with where this golden pocket is 0.65, 0.618, which is the $1.30. I could speak. $1.30 to $1.25 sort of region right in here. And this is also where there's a little bit of price interactivity right here. These lows, this little bounce here, rejection, and support. So this area would ultimately, for me, would be an excellent opportunity to buy, to add to my position for a long-term hold for IMX really anywhere in this sort of zone right in here. Now let me go ahead and make that I don't want to change the color but you know exactly what I'm talking about here. It's this region right here, this $1.30 to $1.50 range. I think is going to be a great opportunity if it gets down there. If it doesn't get down there, it very well may not. It very well may chop in this region, may come down here, come back up, test in here, get a little bit of a wick down maybe. It also may just come in here and chop and push up and launch from here. But you can always have an order set in case that does happen. If this does push out of here, I do expect that it will retest this region before liftoff because this is such a contested area with all of this price action right there. And I think there's going to be some frothiness. I think there's still going to be some moves in some of these altcoins that we're even looking at that will get another sort of last breath push before a bigger pullback pre-halving to then end up launching off. Dot is request from your broski in Albuquerque. Albuquerque, I used to live in Albuquerque. I was stationed at Kirtland Air Force Base. That Albuquerque is actually where I had my motorcycle accident back in 2003. Broke 22 bones. I was a hurt fella. Was in the hospital for 3 months, coma for a month, cast and crutches for 8 years. Yeah, you heard me right. But yeah, I like Albuquerque. So IMX is looking good. I think IMX will likely do very well in this bull market, but be a little cautious here. We have pushed up 380% or 380-something%. What was the next one on there? XRP Pizzle. I feel like people are getting a little tired of XRP with all the news that happened this summer. Let's go ahead and delete some of this stuff. With so many Fibonacci's. I pulled a happy fib. This is trending to the upside. We're looking at the 3-day. This is trending to the upside. I don't want to use this chart though. I want to come down here and look at this one. There we go. XRP. Let's go to the daily. This is not the one I want to look at either. Here we go. This is the one I want to look at. This is why it's great here on the right-hand side. You can add multiple different same asset on different exchanges. So you can set up different charts, different way that you want to chart it and look at things. And so you can go through different views. So make sure you're not missing some aspect or some form of analysis on what you're doing. And remember, if you haven't yet, head over to the BitLab Academy YouTube page. If you scroll down right here, a daily alpha pro trading view guide, watch this. I show you how to set up the templates. I show you how to use quick keys. I show you how to make sure that you can navigate your charting in the most effective way. And also, by the way, if you're watching right now and you look right below the video and it does not say subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm glad we fixed the tech issues and we could jump back in here and go through these charts with you guys. Now, XRP, what are we looking at? We are looking at, look at that, positive money flow came in right about right here. This is when we got the move back up. Now let's go ahead and clear some of these. I don't really care about all these prices anymore. That's from an old analysis. But what I like about this is a push up, a sell off to this line of, it was resistance, it was support, then resistance. Now we flipped it back to support, but we are struggling at this level. We're struggling at this level, and it doesn't necessarily mean we've broken support, because this line could be somewhat arbitrary. It might just be a regional thing. What I mean by that is this could be also, like that, in which case we're sitting here riding on support. So you always want to look at support and resistances as general price range area. So this came up, resistance, came down, support, and we're finding support on this area right now. But interestingly, we're pinched here. Look at this, between the trend signal line right here and the support. We tried to make a move, couldn't. Tried to make a move, couldn't. Tried to make a move, couldn't. I do think a move is likely coming for XRP. And if I'm just looking at the daily, it looks like it might be to the downside. But why do I say that? Because the stochastics are rolling over. This momentum wave was coming up, but it's looking like it's arcing over to roll back down. If I look at this on a smaller time frame, I bet we could see it in real time. So let's go to it's still going up. But yeah, so you see how this is rolling over here? So we have a little bit of divergence here on the momentum wave. Money flow starting to slightly come down, but this is just struggling in this area. Whichever direction this moves, I think it likely will have a bit of a move, but I don't know if it's there yet. Things feel very, everybody's feeling very kind of trepidatious right now in the market. So if we do that, we can see we got a bit of a range there, but symmetrical triangle, move to the downside. That would take us down to 50 cents. Move to the upside. That would take us up into the 8. Look at that. Look at that move. This measured move would take us right to this next level. It's 84-cent level, which is this previous sort of, it's not the range high, but on this move right here, it's that high. That wasn't just, this was just a huge wick right back here in July of 2023. This is when we had that big news event. So we have a big wick there. So I'm looking at this price action top right here, and the measured move out of this goes right to that level. So maybe things are looking a little more bullish than not, but I would watch for a bit of a fake out. If this does move to the downside, bit of a fake out, come back up inside and then make the move. If this does not find support here, if this does start pushing up, watch for a little bit of a stop here at the 67-cent mark, a little bit of a retrace, and then likely the move out from that. What's the next one we're looking at? DOT. D-O-T. What do we see? What do we see? 12-hour, looking bullish. Large impulse, smaller impulse, smaller impulse. You guys see it? I just had to drink some water. So this is looking parabolic right here, but it's also looking like it's starting to get a little bit exhausted. We have a bit of a bearish divergence right here. What do we see? This momentum top, this momentum top. We have the two triangles showing when the peak of them are, when they're starting to roll back over. In this case right here, when this happened, this had a little bit of a pullback. When this happened right here, had a little bit of trouble. When this happened right here, we're having a little bit of trouble. The question is going to be, what kind of trouble are we going to have? In this case, as it is right now, we had two bearish signals pop up right in this region. Stopping volume, and this is holding on to this level right now. Now we are below the weekly VWAP. So this gives me a little bit more, it makes me lean bearish when price breaks below the weekly VWAP, which is this yellow line. This yellow line, the price is marked out here as well, but you can see this yellow line sort of weaving through. You see here, once we break back above it, it's kind of acting as support. Then when we break below it, it's acting quite bearish. I really love this signal on the BitLab trading stack. We are below it now. It doesn't mean it has to go down. It very well could be a fake out. But seeing that we have bearish divergences, seeing that the momentum was getting smaller, and this is testing to the downside, I'm waiting to see how this plays out. But I'm leaning towards bearishness. Now I'm on the 12-hour. Let's get down to the 2-hour. 2-hour. Yeah, look at this. We have a bit of a head and shoulders. As soon as we open it up, I saw it. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Okay. Now, if this is the case, measure from the top here, and look at this, right at the top of the bearish we're having all these bearish divergences that are just because not every bearish divergence is populated on this chart. The ones that are very strong in the code and it's very the indicator can read them, it prints them on here. That's what these little numbers are on the BitLab trading stack. It tells you how many divergences. If it's on the top, they're bearish. If it's on the bottom, it's bullish. And it tells you when you put your mouse over it, it tells you what they are. So we're seeing some bearishness stack up into this, and we have a bearish chart formation, which is a potential reversal chart formation. So this is telling me that this move is likely going to take a test to the downside. Look at where this goes. Option V, or option J, I should say. This chart formation is suggesting a move to come down and test these range highs, which is also this range low. So that's what I'm seeing on DOT right now. If this does bounce and go to the upside, we do have another theory, another possibility is if we have this like this, and this is also, look at that, it looks like a symmetrical or a descending triangle as well. Descending level of resistance, flat level of support. But if we do break out of this, push up and break out of this, it's my opinion that this will likely be a bit of a fake out and come down. If we do push out of this, take out this trend signal line, first step I'm looking for is right here, which is this previous high, 943. If we can take that out, I think we'll have another push, another impulse to the upside. The question is it going to be another, yet again, smaller impulse? This is why I think if we do push up here, it'll feel more like a fake out. Unless there's some dynamic change in the crypto market as a whole. That's what I'm seeing. I saw ILV. Is that Illuvium? I don't think I've looked at Illuvium in over a year or more. This is first thing I thought when I see this, mixed signals. Why? Because this looks a little bit like an inverted head and shoulders, but this also looks like it's rolling over. So it's like, I don't know what I want to do. So let's get out to the 12-hour. Boom, zoom. But, oh man, that's on the 12-hour, this is looking a little more bullish, which is what you want. You want it to look more bullish on a larger time frame. Option J. So we have this low, this high region. This is where we kind of pit stopped right in here. And then right here, we found some support. So what I'm seeing on this is there's some bearish divergences that were coming into this region and these bearish signals, which is signaling something may be coming, and we got it. The question is going to be, is that going to be it? This looks like it may have come down above where the 382 is. Look at that. Boom. Down to 382, now above it. You can tell just by looking at it, that was likely the 382. Now, if this is able to hold here and find, some chop in this region and then continue higher, this is what we're talking about, a bullish pullback. If the price action pulls back to the 382, which is the most bullish of pullbacks, meaning if it pulls back to here, bounces and continues on, that means there's a lot of underlying bullish strength. It's still bullish if we come down and find support here on the golden pocket, right in this region. This region right here, if we draw this out, check this out. If we draw this out, this is also, look at that, perfectly in line where these range highs were. Also a lot of this box, the golden pocket, is also where people bounced over here. The price. So if the price does come down and lose this, I'm watching for a buy opportunity down here at 68, 70, probably front run this a bit, $70, $71. But this, as it stands right now, is looking relatively bullish. My only worry here is that looking down here on the 12-hour, on the stochastics, this is rolled over pretty sharp. Momentum's looking very weak. So if we get down here, let's erase those two things so it doesn't clutter up the chart. Two-hour charts. So we had a lot of bullish divergences, right, that came in here, right in this move. But the problem with this is, there is an inverted head and shoulders here, but not, because you see the shoulder, you see the head, and then you see this shoulder. There's no line. There's no neckline. This doesn't come back and form that. So this kind of invalidated it somewhat with this up here having a lower high here. It didn't come up here and touch that neckline. So with that being said, one could argue that this is a cup and handle, but let's see. Option F from the bottom to the top. Yeah, this came right into the 0.5 area above the golden pocket. I'm still leaning a little bit. There's a little bit more work to do to the downside. Likely testing down into the 90. It's trying to hold $100 is really what it's trying to do right now. But I do think it's going to test back down here to this 382, this 87, and likely lower. If that doesn't happen, I'm happy with it. I'm okay with that not happening, but this is leaning to telling me that is more likely than not. Now, if we draw a trend line right here, if we're able to find some support in this region and not do that, that's great. Remember, I'm always looking at both directions so I can have a plan for both. Yeah. Somebody said 1,000 subscriber and like. Yeah. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe for sure. Join us. I want to see if can we get over 10,000 subscribers by New Year's? It's only 2-3 days away. We only need about 200 people. So if you're watching, hit that subscribe button. Join us here. It'd be a Christmas holiday gift to the crypto world. You hit that subscribe button. That's all you're doing. You're joining a great community. So if we're able to find support in this region, if we have a small trend line like we have like this, bounce here, the 95, 96 level or anywhere above that, push up and move up from there, then we could discuss higher prices. But this is looking a little distribution-y because this also looks like a shoulder, head, shoulder like this as well. So this is why I'm saying this is looking like it's looking like the market's uncertain. Huge movement. And what was this move? 218%, 220%. Huge move. It's looking like people are trying to figure out, should they take some profits? Are they rotating the capital into something else? What's happening with ETFs, etc. So I'd be a little bit patient on this and wait for a little bit more clarity. Uniswap. How many of you, quick question real quick. I'm going to do a poll on here actually. How many of you, let's see, start a poll. How many of you use DEXs to trade? Yes, so much, or only centralize? Let me know do you use DEXs? Do you trade with DEXs, or do you primarily only trade with, Coinbase and Binance and Bybit and Blofin and BitGet? Those are all centralized exchanges. I'm curious how many of you actually get out there and trade and make purchases. Maybe you're not even trading, but you're just making position buys and using DEXs. Very curious about that. Let's see, we got 106 on. Okay, let's get back into the charts. Uniswap, get out here to the 3-day. Boom. This is looking like it's setting up for something magical. And I forget who said it in the last show, the Discover Crypto show, but there's a lot of consolidation that was happening here towards the bottom. We measure this, 560 days. Okay. Look at that, 560 days. And right here, option, this is right where, let me move this over. This is right where the money flipped all this time, bearish, negative money flow, positive money flow here. And we've also broken out of this pretty large downtrend in this region. Now, the interesting thing here, let's see if there's some other lines we can draw. So broke out of that as well. Now, option T. Sorry. So what I'm doing there is I'm drawing from, see these points, touch, projected out. And interestingly, we're coming up towards that area right now. And that is, this level would be up to 840, 849, 850 range. And interestingly, we do a line right there. It's kind of right in the range of where all this chop is and this previous low was. These previous low ranges were over here. Now, delete that. If we're looking at this more technically, not just doing projected lines, okay, we're going to do option F, bottom, and look at where we're at right now. From this move to this move, what did we do? We pushed up and came back and tested the golden pocket. Once we tested it, we chopped right around the 786. And in this case, in this case right here, we tested the golden pocket from this move here. If we look at it this way, it's going to be a little bit different because it's going to be higher. It's going to be like the 382. Why is this? Because we're measuring it in two different ways. You see this? The 382 is the inverse's golden pocket. See, golden pocket and the 382 are roughly about the same zone. In this case, what I'm doing in the opposite, when I'm measuring it from the top to the bottom, I'm seeing if there's any levels as we're moving up that line up with this other projected lines that we have, other previous price action, and we can see where we're sitting right now. Look at this. We're sitting right at the 1.382. This is a fib extension from this to this. It gives us an extension to the upside. So this is where we're at right now. And the next move up, look at this. If we came up here, the cross section is right at the 1.618, right in that region we just talked about, that the 850, 840, 850, 860 sort of range. So this is interesting to say the least, that it's coming up into those levels. So what we can do here is I'd be a little hesitant right here to just be a buyer unless you're a position buyer, because you've already made this move. I'd wait to find some sort of resistance, come back and give you that rise, retrace, continuation. You want to wait for these retraces. This is the same exact thing that happened right here. Let the chart play that out. But I think this can be a monster in the bull run as well. I think most of the stuff in the market is going to do pretty damn well. Some key levels we want to watch are right here. This is, look at all these lows and this rejections right in here. So the 850 sort of, we're right at the 780. We're at the 787, 789 sort of region. We have this zone to contend with. The next level up here, which is a major zone, all these lows and these previous highs, up here at the 12. Let's draw a box on it just so we have it there for later. Up here at the $12, $13 range. That's going to be, yeah. And that, I mean, that's still a 70% move from where we're at right now. So let the market come to you. Yeah, a DEX, just so you know, a DEX is essentially a peer-to-peer liquidity pool, essentially, that you're able to exchange directly between each other. Okay. Now, a centralized exchange, you put your money on a centralized exchange like Coinbase or like Binance or like any of these coins. You're moving your asset to that exchange, and it's just like putting your money in the bank. Technically, it's their coins at that point, and they give you an IOU for what you have. Now, we saw with Celsius, we saw with BlockFi, we saw with ultimately all the way at the end of that year, FTX, centralized institutions that people were storing their assets on that then ultimately collapsed. And the people lost access to those assets because they were in the custody and ownership of those exchanges. That's one of the reasons why I do think DEXs will continue to grow, but I do think centralized exchanges are still going to do quite well as well. Now, how many people? We got over 100 people in here. We only have 30 something likes, unless I need to refresh that page. So everybody hit that like button, drive up the engagement, show some love to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let's get the subscribers up over 10,000 here in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, week, I should say. We're almost there. About 200 people. We get over 1,300 people an episode that watch these. So what are you doing? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join us in this family. Now, I know Tim was sharing some pretty good charts in here. He's been sharing a lot of stuff. He's going to be sharing a lot more and doing a lot more in the BitLab Discord and doing some stuff on the show as well. So definitely follow that. So is Corduroy's been sharing a lot of great charts here in the BitLab Discord. This is the members area for people that are part of BitLab Academy. So you can just come here. Yours, it'll say enroll now. Click enroll. Join us here. You get to go through all these courses, breaking down everything. But most importantly, you get access to the Discord where we're breaking down charts and setups and what we're seeing and their support. And you can ask, people are doing trade setups and, exact sort of call outs for, what people are looking at and the trades that are presenting, setting up take profits and stop losses and all this stuff. John Dalton is an absolute G. Make sure you're following his stuff in here. He's a pro trader, and we're so happy to have him in our community and sharing so much of what he does with us. We're happy to have him on the BitLab team. Corduroy also shares some great stuff as well. And our whole team is in here sharing stuff. So get involved in there, share some stuff. But I love you guys. If you haven't yet, head over to BitLab Academy. Join us here. Get in the Discord. Follow along with what we're doing. Engage with what we're doing. reach out, share charts, ask questions. And yeah, I think that's all I got for you today. That's all I got for you today, because I've got to I got to run, and I'll be doing blockchain basement here in a little bit, and I have some more stuff I need to do. Jim calls is great as well, and also shout out to Alexander G, always sharing so much of her time and so much help here in BitLab Academy. Oh, we didn't do Bitcoin, did we? Who the hell am I to leave this channel? Who the hell am I to close this stream without doing Bitcoin? I don't know. Let's do Cardano and then Bitcoin. We didn't do Cardano either. You guys wrote, I think I'm getting out, and you bring me back in, baby. Now look at this. Similar thing. Top to bottom. Look at this. Push up. Comes back. It's having a lot of trouble here in this golden pocket region. See this? Golden pocket. And then it moves up. Where? Right into the 1.618 zone. This is on the daily. What does it look like on the 2 hour? Let's go ahead and delete this line. Oops. Why TradingView makes it so big each time. There we go. All right, so this is looking a little bit like a bull flag. There's a little bit of caution with that though, because this is getting quite long here. It's getting long in the tooth. Now what we would do is we take this, measure this. I like to do it kind of from the middle like this, because we can be very bullish and go all the way up here. We can do it from the bottom. I like to do it roughly in the middle. Now let's see, I'm going to put a line there, option H. Now what I can do is I can zoom out on the chart and see, look at that. Okay, so this target identifies as where the previous price action level had a lot of chop. So you see how I did there? I did a target, I did a horizontal line across the chart. Then I could look left on the chart and see if that target seems reasonable. And it does. Seems like a reasonable target. Does that mean this is going to happen? Well, let's look at the chart and see what it's telling us. We have positive money flow, flip positive right here, right as this move was coming up. By the way, Crimson Caravan, thank you so much. I think you're the one that said we didn't do BCC, so thank you. That's why we're a community, man. We gotta smack me around sometimes, you know. That's why you gotta, everybody throw the chicken emoji in the chat right now, because you're choking me. Now, super mods, that's for sure. So what we're seeing here, yeah, bull flag, and this is, I'm hesitant just to call a bullish move coming from this right now, because I feel part of it's a feeling like the market is feeling a little bit like there's some cooling that's going to be coming, and we can also see this in this range here. Look, the momentum is really dropped. We're getting a little bit of negative money flow here, back to positive, but we're seeing this is curving back over. If we lose this level, if we lose the 59 cents, 58 cent level, I think we're going to be coming back down. Let's see what that would be. You do option F from this base to the top. Yeah, I think we could be coming down, testing at minimum this 382, and potentially coming down to this 48, 49 cent sort of level. This is if we lose this level again. That's what I'm not saying it's going down there. If we lose these levels, I do think this could be coming down, testing in this region. I would say probably closer into this region. I am still leaning bullish, but there's a lot of bearishness kind of stacking up here. It's all green lights on the, look at this. But part of it's just a feeling. Now, if this does push up and break out from this, remember, we have a target up here. What is that? That's $1.13. Now, we have a critical level we have to watch first, which is this previous low here at 78 cents. So when this does push up, watch for some interaction at the 78 cent level if it does push up from here. One of these days I won't be sick. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Coming back here, Bitcoin. Talk to me, baby. You guys want to see a crazy chart? I do not necessarily trade with this chart. I did this as a thought experiment like 2 years ago or something. And so I have the crazy man chart. This is this crazy man chart. This is not it. Where is it at? It's over here. Crazy man chart is this chart right here. And this was a thought experiment. I don't trade with this. I just wanted to see how price levels respect channels based on just somewhat arbitrary price points. And so you're going to see a lot of lines on this chart, and I'm going to explain it to you. So what I did is crazy. I know, it's just like the murderer's wall. What I did was I just sat here for like an hour, and I just drew a line, a horizontal ray like this. And I basically went from this point to the first point, and then I do it again to the next point, and again to the next point. And I did this on all the different tops and bottoms. And interestingly, doing that, I just want you to notice something. Look at where the price is right now. It's coming up on one of these spider line points from if we get back to the daily. There is a point in here. So this came down to all this price action here and also this low. And this is exactly where we've come to. And a lot of these lines, look at these channels that this has followed. This came down, found some choppiness right here, came down, bounced at this one, came back, rejected this one. And similarly, again, this is just a thought experiment. I want to see how long the different price points would project into the future and how long the price would respect it. And if this is a case, interestingly, let's go ahead and turn off BitLab Intelligence. And look at exactly where this came to, one of these projected lines. And we have this measurement right here. And look at the measurement. If this were to break out, where does that go to? There's already a line that was there as well. That's right here in this golden pocket region, $48,000 to $52,000, right in there, if that were to play out. Now, again, I don't use this to trade. This was just a fun thing I left up for about 2 years, and I check onto it periodically. And I just noticed that today that it hit that channel perfectly. Now, again, we're sitting here. We have a bit of a symmetrical triangle that is in here. I don't really want to call this a bull flag because this is almost as wide as this is tall. So let's go ahead and take a measurement out of here, and we can go ahead and measure this to the downside. Look at that. If this were to come to the downside, where would it test previous highs? This is also just above the short-term holder cost basis. If this were to break out to the almost said to the north, this were to break out to the north, this would come right up here into the golden pocket. So I really do think price could go either way right now. I think there's some frothiness in the market. I think there's a lot of people. If we come over here onto the golden, where is it at? Realized profit value. That's what I'm looking at. No, this is it. Realized profit ratio. This is getting a little frothy. A lot of people in profit. We saw the same thing happen right here, and it came back and touched the red zone, meaning people being out of profit, selling for a loss. Same thing happened right here. Pushed up pre-halving, came back, touched before the halving. Happened again, actually, right here. So we haven't done that yet. So I do think that there's something that is likely to come. Realized profit to value getting relatively high, similar to where we were in previous cycles pre-halving. Things, things are very bullish, but I do think that there's a strong possibility that we get a washout to the downside. But that doesn't mean I'm not ruling out this pushing up and taking us up to that golden pocket. I'm all eyes on the $48,000 to $53,000 region. I think it would be phenomenal if we got up there, especially because it would bring a lot more awareness to the price in mainstream media and bring in some of those people. And I hate to say it, but if you want to make a lot of money in this market and you want to take profits at the top, then there's no other way to realize that. There's no other way to think about it than you need exit liquidity to do that. You need people to come in to be hype cycle buyers to buy the top of the market so you can sell to them. It's up to them if they're going to trade that, if they're going to capitulate and sell at a loss, if they're going to hold it through for the next 5 years and ultimately be in profit. But if you want to sell at any point in the future, you need to have exit liquidity. So I'd like to see some frothiness. I'd like to see it go further. I just don't want you guys to get chopped out of the market. And if you don't want to get chopped out of the market, make sure you head over to BitLab Academy. Join us here. Get in the Discord. And that's all I got for you today. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for dealing with that issue at the beginning with the technicals, but we got it sorted. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, join us here in our community, and I'll see you in the next episode. Alrighty. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Check out bitlabacademy.com and hit that like button, sucker.